This is my finished restored Bridgeport E-head or shaper head. When I got it, it was in pretty rough shape, and had all kinds of different layers of paint on it. It was all disgusting, and when I took it apart, I actually found out that this pinion inside here that adjusts the ram, that had been damaged. It was teeth broken, so I had to make a new pinion. I had new nameplates made for it, laser engraved. I put a new motor on it. It came with a 3-phase, 1/3 horsepower motor, and I put a new half-horse single-phase motor on it. And that was probably one of the hardest parts of restoring this, was finding a motor that fit inside this cavity here. It has to be a certain length because when you loosen the belt, it has to slide into this cavity. And I had a couple of the motors that didn't work. They were too long, so I finally was able to find this one. Put a switch box on it, made up a tag for the switch. I basically stripped the whole thing down, cleaned everything, stripped all the paint off. Had to make the new pinion, like I said. Everything else was in good shape. I just wire wheeled and cleaned everything, put a new coat of paint on, polished up the pulleys and everything up top. So it's in really nice shape now. And I'll turn it on here for you. So basically how this works is a cutting tool goes in here, a stationary cutting tool, and you can make splines, you can make keyways, you can square off corners of holes. And so this is gonna oscillate up and down. The ram's gonna come up and down just like a horizontal shaper would, but it's just a small vertical shaping head. So I turn it on. And right now, the stroke is at 3 inches. It goes all the way from 1/8 inch all the way up to 4 inches of stroke. And that's controlled on this dial here. So if I loosen this, that backs out. And there's a pin in there. You can see now the pin has come out of one of those holes. Poor lighting, but there's a bunch of holes in here. And so I'm at 3 inches, so I'll turn this. And when I'm turning that, this turns a pinion that drives a block inside that's attached to the ram. So the further up the block is, the longer the stroke, or the closer to center the block is, the shorter the stroke. So I'll drop this down to 1 inch. So my 1 inch line is now lined up with the index mark. Tighten that back down. Lock it down, and we turn it back on, you'll see it's a lot shorter stroke. Now it's only going 1 inch a stroke. So now that it's all done, I gotta find some projects to do with it. I'll probably just play around with it at first, but I'm sure there's something in the future that I can use it with. I bought it mostly for doing keyways because I don't have brooches or anything, and you know, really a little work to make different sized key cutters for different sized keys, but it'll save me from having to have a whole brooch set. So hopefully in the future I'll have a video of it in action.